Hi there. Today's topic is about IELTS speaking, and it is all about the important topics, important phrases, vocabulary, and idioms that you should use while you're appearing for your speaking test. And this lecture you should refer before you appear for your IELTS exam. It also has basics, so if you're watching initially, that's also fine because, well, there's no harm in gaining the knowledge, right? So let us start. We will understand the basic format of IELTS speaking. We have three main parts, that is part 1, part 2 and part 3. Part 1 is introduction, जहाँ पे वो आपके बारे में पूछेंगे your name, where are you from, are you working or are you studying, your daily schedule, etc. And they will also ask you about some familiar topics, जैसे कि शायद वो लोग पूछ सकते हैं about wallets or about sports or about barbecue or something like that. बहुत ही ज़्यादा random topic होगा, and do not worry, none of the topic for IELTS speaking will be in a way कि आपको पहले से prepare करके जाना पड़े. This is not your memory test. That is why पहले से कोई भी topic याद करके या फिर आपको नहीं आएगा ये सोच के मत जाना. The topics are going to be very familiar, very common कि आप answer कर पाओ. All right, so your part 1 is going to last for 4 to 5 minutes. Part 2 हमें पता है is a cue card, that is question card. They will flash a question in front of you and you will have 1 minute to prepare. 1 minute आपको prepare करना है, and then after that for 2 minutes you will have to speak. जब तक आपको आपके examiner रुके नहीं तब तक you will have to keep on speaking. So that is your part 2. And after that comes part 3, that is the follow-up question या फिर discussion. They will ask you certain questions, approximately 5 to 6 questions from the topic which was asked in part 2. Part 2 में से थोड़ा generalized question बन के आएगा और वो आपको part 3 में पूछेंगे. So in total, your entire speaking is going to last for 12 to 15 minutes. This is the basic format. I will explain it to you, and then what you can do is you can pause and read all the questions and probably think कि अगर ये ऐसे questions आपको आते हैं तो आप कैसे बोलेंगे. Right, first let me just explain. Your part 1 is going to be introduction. मतलब आपको बहुत ज़्यादा लंबे answers नहीं देने हैं. Your answers are supposed to be crisp and on the topic itself. Right, so you can see here the first question is, do you prefer relaxing at home or going out in the evening, and why? So here our answer is going to be maximum in 2 sentences. First one, would it be would it be like rather you would stay home or you would go out? वो होगा. And then why that if I say that I prefer staying at home, तो फिर मुझे उसका why do I prefer staying at home वो reasoning भी बताना पड़ेगा because why is there in question. All right, so my answer is going to be for 2 sentences and that is it. बहुत ज़्यादा लंबा आंसर मैं वापस रिपीट कर रही हूँ, बहुत ज़्यादा लंबा आंसर हमें स्पीकिंग के पार्ट 1 में नहीं देना है. दिस इज जस्ट फॉर वार्म अप and it is for you to get up to speed and that is it. So yes, our part 2 question, as you can see that question would be like describe one of your friends. ऐसा कोई question होगा, generally past में से आता है. This right here is describe one of your friends. आपके किसी friend को describe करना है. You can choose to talk about any of the friends you want. Sub questions होंगे, how have you met, how long you have known each other and how you spend time together. These sub questions are there to help you out. I would really suggest that you stick to these questions and try to answer the same questions. इसका आंसर आपको 2 मिनट तक देना है without stopping. And the last one is discussion part, जहाँ अगर यहाँ पे फ्रेंड के ऊपर है तो यहाँ जनरलाइज टॉपिक वापस फ्रेंड के ऊपर आने के चांसेस ज़्यादा है. जैसे कि what do you think are the most important qualities for friends to have? Now such kind of a question you cannot answer in 1 or 2 lines. आपको ज़्यादा sentences बोलने पड़ेंगे, at least 3 to 4 sentences I suggest that you use while giving your answers for part 3. क्योंकि ये डिस्कशन है तो आपके आंसर्स छोटे नहीं होने चाहिए. or what they would do is they would wait for a few seconds and then they'll start next question. All right, so this is the basic format. What you can do is now is pause your video and read all the questions if you want. I'm changing the slide. All right, now what is the marking criteria when it comes to speaking? हमें पता है listening reading का marking criteria बहुत ही straightforward है. सही है तो 1 मार्क मिलेगा, गलत है तो 1 मार्क जाएगा. आपने छोड़ दिया है तो 1 मार्क चला जाएगा. Right, but when it comes to speaking and writing, our marking criteria is very different. क्योंकि आप बोल रहे हो और आप जो बोल रहे हो उसके ऊपर आपको मार्क्स मिलने वाला है. इसमें सही गलत कुछ नहीं होता. Right, but few pointers which they can figure out और उस पे आपके मार्क्स चले जाते हैं. फर्स्ट वन इज फ्लुएंसी एंड कोहेरेंस. yes, so fluency, whenever you are speaking, आपका जो flow होता है, are there many breaks in between when you speak, वो सब fluency में count होगा. and coherence मतलब how well can you link all of your points. आपका आप बोल रहे हो 5 points, उसमें से आपका point 1 और point 3 कैसे आप link कर रहे हो. are you in sync with your own thoughts. वो आप बोलते हो तो पता चल जाता है. that is when it comes to coherence. Next one is lexical resources. To be precise, it is called vocabulary. आपकी vocabulary कैसी है? If you keep on repeating your words again and again, then probably this is the area from where your marks will be reduced. So we have to make sure that we do not repeat all of our words. थोड़े common words है जैसे कि and ये तो repeat करने ही पड़ेंगे. That is okay. But other words, say for example friends, तो friends की जगह पे आप peers use कर सकते हो, right? So such words should not be repeated. Next comes grammatical range and accuracy. आपकी grammar range क्या है? माने तो simple compound complex है, active passive है, direct indirect speech है, ये सब आता है आपकी grammatical range में. and accuracy is how well you are using your grammar. आपकी grammar mistakes कितनी हो रही है, errors कितनी हो रही है, how many times you missed something that was supposed to be spoken, and how many times you misplaced few things. इसकी जगह पे आपने वो use कर दिया. So something like that comes in grammatical accuracy. And last one is pronunciation. कि आपकी pronunciations कैसे है? Whenever you're pronouncing something different, see accent is absolutely fine. Accent का वो उनको ज़्यादा problems नहीं होती because apparently we cannot do anything about our accent. But when it comes to pronunciation, अगर आप say for example beginning का फिर beginning कर दो तो that is something very wrong. Right? You're not supposed to do that. So I hope this is clear. Now let us move on to important part 2 topics to do before your examinations. Part 2 के थोड़े important topics है जो हम लोग अब पढ़ेंगे, which is more likely to show up in your exam. Over the past 2 decades of IELTS examination, following topics have always come in your IELTS speaking in one or the other way. Hence, memorizing and preparing the following topics and its vocabulary will help you to improve your score in IELTS exam. अभी जो थोड़े topics हम लोग पढ़ने वाले हैं, there is high chance that one of these topics will show up in your IELTS exam in one or the other way, either in part 1 or part 2 or in part 3. There is a chance कि ये 6 topic है उसमें से कुछ ना कुछ तो आएगा ही. So it is really advisable that you memorize the vocabulary which has been given. कि अगर 10 words है वो आप याद कर रहे हो, उसमें से अगर आप 2 या 3 भी use कर लो, then that is also a huge deal when it comes to speaking. So let us start. First one is describe a person. It could be somebody you admire, probably a family member. You have to discuss about their appearance or their character. तो ये सारी चीज़ें आप डिस्कस कर सकते हो when someone asks you about a person. आप उनका appearance describe कर सकते हो या फिर उनका character भी describe कर सकते हो. Second one is describe a place that you had visited or a holiday. Describe an event, कोई festival या फिर celebration हो सकता है. Describe an activity, जैसे कि swimming है वो sport हो गई, game है तो chess हो गई. Activity में आप swimming या फिर chess you can describe, right? Describe your favorite book, film advertisement और website. वो लोग ये भी पूछ सकते हैं that describe your favorite film. Now you will have to talk about your favorite film. So one of these, describing your favorite item or something could be asked. And last but not the least, describe an object. कोई भी चीज है, could be a gift or something that you have used. इसमें वो लोग services भी पूछते हैं कभी कभी, describe a service that you have received. तो वो भी आ सकता है. So I really hope you keep these many topics in mind. You can again pause your lecture and you can note these down. Brackets में लिखा है वो भी note करो, because that is apparently the important part. And you can refer to these topics क्योंकि there is chance इसमें से कोई एक आपके exam में आ जाए. Now, how would you open or how would you carry on with your point? अगर मैं, चलो अब मैंने बातें करना शुरू कर दिया हमारी टॉपिक 2 में, I started speaking, but I need an opening line. मैं directly कुछ ना कुछ बोलना तो शुरू नहीं कर सकती, right? I need to open, I need to make points कि उन्होंने अगर बोला है that describe a road trip, तो रोड ट्रिप शुरू कहीं से हो रही है, बीच का कोई पार्ट आ रहा है, हाउ द रोड ट्रिप इज गोइंग टू एंड. सो आई एम मेकिंग पॉइंट 1, आई एम मेकिंग पॉइंट 2, आई एम मेकिंग पॉइंट 3. तो वो सर पॉइंट्स में कैसे ओपन करूंगी, दैट इज गिवन ओवर हियर. So let us see how can you open. This is something you need to screenshot or write it down. I'll repeat again, screenshot or write this down. ये आपको याद रहना चाहिए that if you are supposed to open your first point, आप कैसे बोलेंगे. I'll read through. Opening points में आप क्या क्या बोल सकते हो. Well, I'd like to talk about a road trip I made. Just like this. अगर question है, describe a road trip that you made. Then how I'll talk is, well, I would like to talk about the road trip to Udaipur that my friends and I made in 2020. Something like this. This is how you can start your speaking part. Another opener is, okay then, to start with, I will talk about the road trip to Udaipur that I had made recently with 2 of my other friends. Again, this is how you can start while making your first point. जैसे ही मैं अभी मैंने opening दे दिया कि उदयपुर गए थे, थोड़ा introduction दे दिया. Now I'm going to make my first point, जो बात करने लायक चीज है वो. How I'll start. The first thing I like to mention is, or the main thing that you need to know is that we made the entire trip on bikes. Right, this is my first point. I'm making a first point कि हम लोग trip पे गए थे उदयपुर और वो हमने bike पे किया था. Right, so this is how I'm going to open. This is how I'm adding. I hope you're seeing what I'm trying to do over here. Third point is, I'd like to begin by highlighting the fact that we made the entire road trip by bikes. Again, देखा मैंने कैसे add कर दिया fact के बाद that we made the entire road trip by bikes. And last opener is, the most important point about the road trip is that it was on bike. So something like this, you can always open your first point like this. Let us move on to the second point. अभी मैंने bike की बात कर दी. We will talk about any other point. जैसे कि the second point is going on to my next point, which is taking the food or the snack break. Let us talk about taking the food or snack break over here. And the thing that needs to be highlighted here is that we made an entire tour within a budget. Did you see how did I connect all my points? जैसे कि blank था उसमें मैंने अपना add कर दिया, but I kept the entire structure as it was here in our slide. Next, how concerning now concerning the matter of food. And what I have to mention here is that we were on a budget. Did you see? I just put the important points in the blank. बाकी सारे शब्द मैंने same रखे हैं. So that is why I'm saying that you should either screenshot or you should pause and write these down, because this is how it is going to help you. अगर आपको थोड़ा सा धक्का मिल जाए, then you'll be able to talk. That is it. And if I'm making third point or the last point, this is how I'll open. Progressing to the subject of, say, probably घूमने वाली चीजें, right? Progressing to the subject of places that we decided to visit. I would like to explain that we made an entire map on the paper. So something like this you can just connect. Moving on to the business of dash, what I would like to make clear is that so and so. And while making the last point, while ending your topic, what you would use is, finally, I'd like to discuss the point or the part where we decided to return back to the back to the city or back to Ahmedabad, something like this. This is how you're supposed to form your entire structure, ताकि जो coherence है, जो connection है between your opening statement, your first point, second point, third point, and your ending, वो सीधे सीधा दिखना चाहिए. All right, so we had our first topic, that was describe a person. That could be someone that you admire or a family member. तो हम क्या डिस्कस करेंगे? हम डिस्कस करेंगे उनका अपीयरेंस या फिर कैरेक्टर, और वी कैन डू बोथ, दैट इज ऑल्सो फाइन. तो ये जो डिस्क्राइब अ पर्सन, उसमें क्या क्या क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं? Could be describe a teacher, famous person, friend, family member, child, someone who helps people, or someone who does something well. इतने क्वेश्चंस पहले IELTS में आ चुके हैं, and there is again chance that these questions might show up. So let us see what we would talk about while we're discussing about someone's appearance or a character. We will first start with appearance. I'd like to talk about my aunt. Her name's Marta, and she's quite a character. She is middle aged. आप देख सकते हो middle aged यहाँ पे highlight किया हुआ है. That is a word that you can use to describe a person who is in the mid of their age. Say for example 35 या 40 है, तो middle aged हम लोग use कर सकते हैं. She is middle aged but has very youthful appearance. Again, youthful is a new word. She's a little overweight, I suppose, but not too much. Overweight is again a new word. So you can see the highlighted words are the new words which you can use while you are describing someone's appearance, right? She has a very friendly round face framed by thick black hair. She has a lovely complexion and she's always well turned out. She actually always looks like she's going out for the evening to somewhere special. There's never a hair out of the place. Out of the place is one of the idiom to show that she's always neat and tidy. I've always thought she bears a striking resemblance to someone on TV. मुझे हमेशा ऐसा लगा है कि टीवी में कोई दिखता है, बिल्कुल उनके जैसे ही दिखती है मेरी आंटी. I can't remember the name now. She wears glasses and always seems to have a different pair on every time I see her. I like the way she looks because she wears clothes that are right for her age and manages to look glamorous without it looking like she's too done up. Yes, I'll be happy if I have to look like her when I'm her age. So this is how you describe someone's appearance. While we're talking about character, how will you say? This was a few years ago now, and she was my teacher at a time when I was getting a little bored with being at school. Unlike some of the other teachers, Miss Thomas never lost her temper. The word temper, character se resemble karta hai. See, the kind of words which have been used to show that वो लोग character describe कर रहे हैं. She was very calm and easygoing. She was also very broad-minded. We were able to ask her questions about lots of subjects that some other teachers would refuse to discuss with, which made us respect her even more. She had a great sense of humor too. She'd laugh at our jokes as well as making us laugh, and she would also bend over backwards. Bend over backwards is an idiom which means to go out of the way, right? To go out of the way to help someone or go out of the way to guide someone. Also, right. And she would also bend over backwards to help us with our work. She always put us first and often stayed around at the end of the class to talk with anyone who needed help. Apparently, she was highly respected within her field. She was very modest and self-effacing. Others would like other words like introvert, extrovert, ambivert. So such words you can also use while describing someone's character, right? You could say that she was very extroverted or she was an ambivert, or she was introverted, something like this. I hope you got an idea that while describing a person, उनका appearance वो कैसे दिखते हैं या फिर उनका character जो है, उसके लिए vocabulary आप क्या क्या use कर सकते हो. Here is about describing a place somewhere that you had visited, probably a holiday, और उसकी vocabulary देखते हैं. Every word which is highlighted or which is bolden up is the new word which you should learn or use today. All right, let us start. The question is about describing a place. All right. Anyone who comes to my country really should spend some time in Barcelona. It's a beautiful place. It's not what you would call a sprawling city. It's quite compact, really, and you could walk across the city in a couple of hours. But there's no need to do that as we have a fantastic public transport system, so it's easy to get around. There are various districts, all with their own character. You have the upmarket shops in the center. You'll find lots of chain stores you'll recognize from your own country, but also local brands as well. We have the narrow streets in the Gothic districts with lots of fashionable boutiques and tourist attractions. There's the Olympic area and the beaches along the coast, and dotted around the city are some lovely public spaces, parks and squares in the city center and on the outskirts of Barcelona, where people relax with their friends and family. And of course, pavement cafes everywhere. All that and some great historical places of interest, so a great destination for tourists. This is how you're supposed to speak. Did you see how there were certain nooks and corners where your speech was going up and down, and how the words, the really complicated तो नहीं बोल सकते, but new words were used in a way that it didn't look like you were trying to do something. Whenever the examiner feels that you are trying way hard to use a word, you're actually going to end up losing your mark. This is about describing an event. कोई festival है या फिर celebration है. What we'll do is you can pause your lecture for now and you can read through the entire lecture. ये जो slide में लिखा है, you can read it and you can write down the new words. जब भी कोई event या फिर festival describe करने की आती है, जैसे यहाँ पे दिवाली की बात की है, what kind of words you will use while describing Diwali or a festival, the new vocabulary is also given. So yes, go ahead and pause the video and yeah, we will move forward now. All right, now this is about describing an activity. कोई sports है या फिर कोई game है. How and what kind of words you will use when you are describing an activity. So what is the main approach that we are going to use is to prepare ideas for one sport and one game. जब भी कोई activity के बारे में पूछते हैं, then talk about one game and one sport. We'll start with something simple such as swimming is healthy. Then prepare some good words related to it. जैसे कि keep fit, get in better shape, a good cardiovascular workout, feel refreshed, rejuvenated, invigorated, gives me an energy boost. जैसे कि start हमने बहुत simple किया, swimming is healthy, and then we started using different words, right? So this is how we are supposed to speak. गेम है, उसमें हम क्या बोल सकते हैं? अगर कोई गेम हम डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं जैसे कि चेस है, then what words can we use is that it can raise your IQ, it helps you prevent Alzheimer's, it exercises both sides of the brain, it increases your creativity, it improves your memory, it increases problem solving skills, it improves reading skills, and it improves concentration. Now, this is how you're supposed to form your sentences. ये पूरा ऐसे का ऐसे ही नहीं बोलना है. I'm just giving you points on what kind of different topics you can talk about while you're talking about a game. So yeah, this is about describing your favorite book or film or advertisement or a website. These kind of words you can use while you're describing a favorite item of yours. I'll read this for you. here let us talk, यहाँ पे उन्होंने books की बात की है, then this is the kind of words you can use. I like reading, especially English novels. It's a great way to improve your vocabulary, and there are so many fantastic authors to choose from. One book that came highly recommended by my teacher was The Mayor of Casterbridge. I was studying at a school in the UK at the time, and she said it would give me a picture of what life was like years ago in the area I was living. Well, I have to say, I absolutely loved it. It was a real page turner. It's a historical novel, and the setting was a fictional town called Casterbridge. But actually, it was based on a town near where I was studying called Dorchester. It had such a great plot. To cut a long story short, it tells the story of the downfall of a man called Hankard, the central character who lived during the period of great social change around the time of the Industrial Revolution. The reason I enjoyed it so much, apart from the great story, is that it gave me a picture of what life had been like in the place I was studying at the time. I really couldn't put it down. It's a fantastic story. So, this is how it goes when you're describing the book. You don't have to sound very formal. This is just a very, very friendly conversation. The more you try to appear formal, the more you lose marks. And also, if you try to appear really informal, आप slangs use कर रहे हो, then also it is going to harm your marks. So you have to be very moderate about it. All right, so this is about describing an object, probably a gift or something that you use. इसमें मैंने जैसे पहले एग्जांपल दिया था कि सर्विसेज के बारे में भी पूछ सकते हैं, डिस्क्राइब catering service that you received, something like this, something or an object that you had received. ऐसे questions आ सकते हैं. So again, you can go ahead and pause the video and try to speak it. You know, ये जो लिखा है, try to say it in a way that you are saying, and you would know that how you're supposed to have your ups and downs in the speech. जो highlighted words है वो आप लिख सकते हो, because these are the kind of words that you use while you're describing an object or a gift or a service that you had received, and so on. Yeah, so you can pause and I will change the slide now. All right, these are the things we saw. That is it. So this is what you're supposed to refer. Make sure that you refer to all these topics at least once. ये जो पूरी slide है, हो सके तो सारे जितने भी pages थे, जितने भी screen थे, उसके आप screenshot ले लेना या फिर लिख लेना, and at least refer to it once before you appear or go for your exam, and I am very, very sure that you will be fine. So that is it. Thank you so much. See you again.